Imposter syndrome is a very dicey subject matter because it has to do with your mental state. And to be very honest, I've been a victim of this literally my entire life. Imagine feeling like you don't deserve certain things even though you worked your ass off for it. Imagine feeling like a fraud at what you do even though you've received a lot of awards and recognition, appreciating you for the things that you've done. Imagine refusing to take credit or being quick to judge what you've done, or imagine constantly finding fault in the things you do, even though you put in so much work to do those things and you know that genuinely you did achieve those things. Imagine that you constantly compare your success to other people's success in such a way that you do not have any form of appreciation for yourself whatsoever. You do not appreciate the effort you put into the things that you do, even though those things have also become successful as well. If you can relate to this, then you are probably a victim of imposter syndrome, like the vast majority of us are. Because, yeah, this is exactly what imposter syndrome feels like. It seems like there are a lot of voices in your head telling you that you're not good enough. But in reality, you're the only one in your head. I have dealt with imposter syndrome for the greater part of my life. And one thing that kind of helped me to shift my mind and my perspective around it was when I came across an article that talked about the concept of the idiot curve. And the basic rule of the idiot curve is that you feel dumber before you feel smarter. So no matter how experienced you are, no matter how skilled you are, you definitely don't have knowledge in every area in this life. And there are certainly areas where you feel uninformed about certain things. So it just means that a person might be skilled at certain things, a person might be skilled at certain areas, but there are definitely areas that you do not know anything about. For example, imagine working in a tech company, like you do office job 9 to 5, and someone tells you to go and, for example, do a plumbing work. That's a new area. You would definitely feel dumb in that area because that's a plumber's area and that is his area to shine. But if you swap it and the plumber comes to work in your field, that is your own place to shine as well. So definitely there are certainly areas that we are uninformed about, and it will definitely influence how dumb we feel. So while trying to fight the idiot curve, I think it's best to realize that this is a natural feeling. It is something that will keep coming up at different stages of our lives. We all face it at the end of the day. So the best way to be able to deal with the idiot curve is kind of to embrace it as part of life, because it will always pop in at different points in our lives. If you do well on this idiot curve and kind of focus your mind on the fact that you feel like you're not good enough, or you've just gotten somewhere and you're not doing as you should, or you're not performing as you should perform, that can make you feel like an imposter. And even after you start to grasp the things that you're supposed to grasp, you still feel like an imposter because you've been feeding yourself that bad information from the beginning, right? So to be able to deal with imposter syndrome, I want you to ask yourself a few questions. First question is, what evidence do I have that confirms that I am not good enough? Number two, am I comparing myself to other people unfairly? Number three, what are my strengths and what are my accomplishments? Finally, what am I doing to improve how I feel? The reason for asking these questions is for you to identify if you are telling yourself lies, if you're not being fair to yourself, and if you're actually taking any active step to stop feeling the way you're feeling. Because most times when we do feel like imposters, it's because we are unaware of what we are supposed to do. However, if you engage in like study and try to learn something or improve or increase your knowledge about that particular thing, you would notice that you start to feel less of an imposter and more of yourself. So I want you to actually answer these questions, because answering these questions can help you improve the way you feel about this. Once you're able to do away with imposter syndrome, it helps with greater resilience. And by this, I mean that you start to believe in yourself a bit more. You start to have more confidence about what you're doing, and you start to have an increased self-esteem. Doing away with this feeling would also help with your mental health. You start to feel better mentally rather than judging yourself or beating yourself up about these things. You start to feel better and better by each day that passes by. It would also help you make better decisions and also improve relationships. So, if you are dwelling on this imposter syndrome, it's never really good for you. And as someone that has been through it and been there, done that, I would say for sure that the earlier you start doing away with the feeling of being an imposter, the better life gets. The better you stop overthinking everything, the easier it is to go through life without thinking that you are dumb or you feel like you don't know something. To be honest, every single person feels this way. Every single person at different stages in their lives encounter this same feeling. So once you start to move around with the mindset of we are all trying to just walk through life. It's okay not to know sometimes. It's okay to have down times. Once you start having these mindsets, it would help you to gradually do away with the feeling of being an imposter. So, if this is something you've dealt with for a very long time, I want you to take those tiny steps to appreciate yourself a bit more, to take credit for the things that you do, to do away with comparisons with other people and all of that. Like, highlight what you've done that makes sense, highlight your successes, and hug yourself, give yourself a pat on the back for accomplishing the things that you've done. Just take those tiny steps, and gradually it would help you to feel less of an imposter.
Look at you now, you're alive. Oh, look at you now, you're alright. When the nights are cold but the world's on fire and you're scared to fall 'cause it feels too high. Oh, look at you